7. My name is Christabel Success Trevor. Coming up this morning, former Attorney General Godfrey Dame fumes over the continuous detention of his client by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO.
They have been denied access to counsel. I have junior colleagues of mine who have been sitting at EOCO since about 11 o'clock.
Also, finance and tax analyst cautions the political class from bringing the IMF in the Bank of Ghana losses debates.
Public finance decision lies squarely on the shoulders of we Ghanaians, and so the IMF cannot dabble into the affairs of this country as far.
And much later, supply disruptions from Burkina Faso push Ghana tomato traders towards local harvests amid rising prices.
Price no First,
we've got details shortly. Stay with us. I am Christabel Success Trevor, and here are the details. The Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, on Tuesday rearrested the former Chief Executive Officer of the National Food and Buffer Stock Company Limited, Hanan Abdul Wahab, and his wife, Faiza Seidu Wuni. The arrest occurred shortly after the Attorney General withdrew all charges against them. There's more in the following reports. We'll bring that to you in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, later last night, Godfrey Dame, counsel for the former CEO, Hanan Abdul, said he has not been given access to this client whilst at detention in EOCO. He spoke on an Accra radio station.
They have been denied access to counsel. I have junior colleagues of mine who have been sitting at EOCO since about 11 o'clock. They have not been given access to them. They have not been given access to the former chief executive of Buffer Stock. I mean, what kind of practice is that? They have been sitting at EOCO since 11 o'clock. They have not had access to their clients. They are junior colleagues of mine, and they are still sitting there. Apparently, Hanan even fell ill in the course of all the harassment and was rushed to the hospital and brought back to EOCO office. He's still in the custody of EOCO at the EOCO office. He's not been given access to his lawyers. Yeah, so trying to negotiate is being freed from the custody of EOCO.
Godfrey Dame is counsel for the former CEO of the National Food and Buffer Stock. In another development, investigations into the PDS-linked arrest are deepening, with the Attorney General's office now tracing the flow of funds to determine whether the transactions point to a coordinated scheme or a standalone breach. According to the spokesperson to the Attorney General, Benjamin Alpha Edu, investigators are still following the money trail.
An investigation is ongoing into circumstances surrounding the disappearance of 850 million Ghana cedis from an ECG Car Bank account. The intelligence agencies deem it fit that these four persons be invited for questioning. They've done so, they've granted them bail, and that is where we are at now. We do not know whether it was a coordinated scheme between some officials of PDS and these four persons. What we know and we can speak to at this point is that the investigative agencies want to trace the circumstances surrounding the disappearance of these monies.
That was a spokesperson to the Attorney General, Benjamin Alpha Edu. A finance and tax analyst, Nelson Kujo Kwabeji, has cautioned the political class from bringing in International Monetary Fund in the affairs of Ghana, especially because Ghana is in course to exit the IMF program. His comment follows a petition to the IMF by the former finance minister, Dr. Amin Adam, asking for strict surveillance to ensure maximum transparency in the Bank of Ghana's operations. Nelson Kujo spoke on Hot Edition.
Analysts, we speak to the data as it appears in the financials. The honorable former finance minister petitioning the IMF, I believe, is purely from political angles, and some of us are not politicians. So I think that we should work, cautiously, because the IMF program will be ending very soon. And once the IMF program ends, it means that the fiscal decision, the public finance decision lies squarely on the shoulders of we Ghanaians. And so the IMF cannot dabble into the affairs of this country as far as we exiting their program is concerned. But of course, I mean, he is at liberty to petition the IMF.
Nelson Kujo Kwabeji is a finance and tax analyst. The Public Accounts Committee says it has had enough of the "we've written to Yoko" excuse. The chairperson, Abena Osei Asare, is moving to shut down the vague stories assemblies often tell when they are caught in financial mismanagement in the Auditor General's report. Her solution is to bring the investigators to the witness table. Before we go, Ghana's tomato trade is at a turning point as supply disruptions in Burkina Faso force a decisive shift. Ghanaian traders are now preparing to reduce dependence on cross-border sourcing and rely on local harvests to stabilize prices and supply. There's more in this report by Stanley Nibleu.
Ghana was shaken when Burkinabe authorities announced a ban on the export of tomatoes to neighboring countries. The move triggered a surge in prices of the commodity across local markets. Last month, the restriction was eased for Ghana, allowing traders to resume imports from the Sahelian country. However, supplies have since dwindled as the major crop season in Burkina Faso comes to an end. The few remaining tomatoes on farms are being destroyed by frequent downpours, worsening the shortage. Traders who source the commodity say they are now returning with empty crates.
Because of the rainy season, few empty boxes na keba. If it were more, something like 120 pieces. 55 pieces. If it was shortage of the boxes, in my machine, it was the reason.
This has significantly impacted prevailing market prices.
It's a price no a cost. First, na keba form kakraba is saying because of fire say omo kwechire and a kofa. And Tama and Yamano, a niano, a wechire pint on babano, na niamano, I condemn.
At Agbogloshi in Accra, only a few tomato traders displayed their wares for sale. The majority were out of stock. At Accra Railways, the few available supplies are yet to be cleared. According to the traders, the last batch of Ghanaian buyers is currently in Burkina Faso to source what remains, after which trips there will cease.
Because some come in Yansania, one more penal. The patches are Ghana Diana Bar, a Bamaya wine hanging. Trying petition near dear Commodore Conocrania easy.
And that is how we wrap up the morning news here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please check out our website 3news.com. Business is up next.